Hey, it's Monday. We're into October. Regular class, and we have things to get into. What you see over there is my last bag of suckers. Once that is gone, I am out. So once I am out of whatever flavors you like, that is it until the next round, which will be like in January or February. So we have a hot minute. Hi, Naila.
What?
Hi, Naila.
Oh, okay. Wait, can I get a lollipop after class?
And then we're going to talk about last Thursday's quiz here in just a moment for those of you who struggled on it. Ooh, do we have anyone who's absent I need to kick out for it? I want to make sure this is... Nope, we're all good. Everyone. And then we're going to talk about tomorrow's 9-week assessment, because we only have 2 grades this week, and how the last grades for the 9 weeks work. This week, I'm not assigning you homework, since last week we had to do like 3 homework assignments, even though they were done in class. And we still have kids who are standing from us doing our in-class homework assignments. And I figured there's no point giving you more homework as much as we struggled last week. So instead, your only homework is that little purple piece of paper in front of you. Make sure you read story for Friday, which we'll talk about in a second, but that would be it as far as the homework goes. We do have 2 grades this week to change because this is the last of the 9 weeks. We have your 9-week assessment tomorrow, which is 30 points. And then we have your last short story quiz on Friday, which is going to be 30 points. Friday's short story quiz is going to cover 2 big stories. The purple one you see in front of you about aliens going to a zoo, and then the one we're going to start today together called Man from the South. It's a long story that we're going to start today and won't finish until Thursday. And it's going to cover that one. Those are the 2 main ones. I'll read one of them to you. The other one you have to read with your own head. And then we can help you out from there. Friday's quiz. You will not really get a chance to fix it because the 9 weeks ends on Friday. I will give you 2 attempts, but I will not be going over questions with you. So you can go ahead and do it in class, or you can go home and do it yourself over the weekend to try and get up to a 22, but I will not get a chance to cover it with you. Cameron.
So you said that both of the quiz lost 30 points?
One more time.
You said that both of the quizzy thingies are 30 points?
Both of them are 30 points. Math. Hi.
So, like, for the 9-week assessment, like, do we have to, like, read an article for
But
that?
you're going to find out when I talk about it in just a moment. Tomorrow, sorry, not tomorrow, Wednesday, we go to book fair. We'll be there for like the beginning of class for like 10-15 minutes, and then I get to come back and do actual teaching after that. We won't be there the entire class period because that would be kind of boring. If you bring money, you get a chance to buy things. They have books, they have trinkets and doodads and just random stuff you can buy, pencils, erasers, toys, books. If you forget money on Wednesday, I can send you back on Thursday. You just have to go at like the very beginning of class, but if not, then we can try to help you out from there. This is what you have to read for Friday. I tried again to find a fairly short story. It's the alien story about a zoo, and so hopefully I tried to find one that makes sense and shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but we'll see what happens. Again, this is the one that comes due for Friday. And then we covered this one. We have standing kids working on things there. Make sure you submit this. Home children, this is your pink sheet. Make sure you submit this. This is your IXL. The reason I gave you this IXL is this is what your 9 weeks assessment is tomorrow, where you are going to have to read articles and then figure out the most important main idea. So I figured doing an IXL would prepare you for it. So that's why we were trying to help you out while you look scared. The 9-week assessment tomorrow is 3 questions.
What?
Question number 1, read an article, tell me what the main idea is. Question number 2, read a second article and tell me what the main idea is. Question 3, write a paragraph. So that paragraph thing we've been practicing and doing together, where you just have to have like your main idea and you're going to support it with ideas and then you're going to have a conclusion, that's what you're writing. And you're writing about how does playing video games affect physical health. You'll get all your information from the 2 articles you're going to read about how video games affect your health. These are your 3 questions for your 9 weeks assessment. Number 1 is going to be multiple choice. Number 2, multiple choice. 3 is going to be you write an essay paragraph. Hi, Stella.
Are we allowed to use our notes for this, even though it's a test?
Sure. Which notes would you use?
The ones on
paragraph
to
one.
the conclusion.
Yeah, that's fine. I have no issue with that. As long as you still have it, sure. Let's help responsible kids. Kindles!
I'm done.
Yay! Show me at the end of class. Alright, then your grading thing for it is going to be most of your grade comes from the paragraph. It is a 30-point thing because it's worth 2. 26 of your 30 points comes from you writing a paragraph. So as long as you can read it and then write your little paragraph response, then hopefully you should do well. You'll have the entire class period to work on it tomorrow. Questions as far as that goes? And Yeezys. Yay! Then, as far as this goes, I have no one to kick out. We just checked. I will go over it for those of you who want to fix it. But first, let's pick 3 more kids to stand up and get points. Ooh, we're almost done. We're almost through everybody in here. Let's see. Home children, I'm going to pause it so that you don't have to listen to kids struggle, as much fun as that may be. And we'll come back to you in a second. Hey, welcome back. Those kids did a great job.
Mr. Brovicast, can you do the gritty again?
I've never even heard of that. So, with story quiz, our average grade did go up. In this class, we did bump up to an average of a D+ from our previous average of an F+. A D+ may not be great, but it is better than an F+, so that's something. Who knows? By this Friday, we may move up to like
An A+.
Whoa, settle down there. Keep our fingers crossed. It's going somewhere into the C range.
Remember, you got me in your class.
So, those of you who struggled on it, if you got under a 22, I'm going to cover the questions we struggled on, and then you can resubmit. Email me, and we can get you up to a 22. That first quiz, we had to go over 11 questions. Now we're down to 8 questions that we struggled on. By this Friday, maybe we'll be down to like 4 or 5 questions. You just keep aiming high. I mean, I like
You
it.
have to think positive.
I thought going down to 5 or 6 was thinking positive.
It's fine, it's fine.
You know,
Oh,
maybe I'll get an F+.
F++. Alright, so question 1. What was the author's purpose for sharing this story with us? Not a thing I really covered with you. It was just sort of seeing how well you can do an island level question. Do you guys know what persuade means?
Nope.
Wait, yes.
yeah.
What does persuade
It's
mean?
to make
Yeah,
you
like
want
make
to
somebody
do
want
something.
something.
There you go.
Yeah.
To try and convince people. To inform is where you're just telling them, so it's like a non-fiction article. To teach is technically what I do in class. And to entertain is what Stella does in class. And so as you read through story, you had to figure out which one was it trying to do. And it was not trying to convince you to stop bullying. It was not just a non-fiction article. It wasn't teaching anything. It
To
was just-
entertain.
yeah, just to make you be
They were
entertained
making
and enjoy the fact that there was a kid who died at the end. What's up, James?
I was trying to answer it because pod. Persuade, inform, entertain. Entertain is short stories. Inform is non-fiction stories, and persuade is persuasive articles.
Nicely done. How'd it go with that?
I remember that from 5th grade.
Look at you being all smarty. Question 2. The point of view for the story. This one was a very tough question. On this one, almost everybody chose third omniscient.
I didn't.
But if you didn't, go you. You had to look at the beginning of the story where it says, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about a past. So if you use as I, that makes it
First person.
You literally told us that before we.
Yeah, because I told
I
them.
listened and I wrote it
I
back
told
down.
them.
I'm proud of you. Not every kid listens when I talk. So yeah, we did give it to you right before the quiz, but even from that, you can look in there and the fact it was first person. It then kind of goes into third person where the main character is talking about others, so it was confusing, but technically it's first person. 4. The best resolution of the main conflict. I think this one was worded funny. I did not write the wording for this one. Which part of the mountain is resolution?
The
The
snow
end.
leaves
Smoke
one.
trapped for a
As
week.
in, what's the definition?
Oh, the end, the boring ending stuff.
Boring ending stuff. But the trick is, it's not asking for the resolution of the story. It's asking for the resolution of the main conflict. Who is the fighting in the main conflict?
Monk and whatever her name is.
Monk and what's her face? We're gonna call her Priscilla. How does the fight between Monk and Priscilla end?
Bad.
Yeah,
By
he
trapping
gets
them in
trapped
a locker and then leaving them in the
So
snow.
that becomes the resolution of the conflict, is Priscilla locking Monk in a locker. Then, how does the story end?
The snowstorm and
So then that would be the resolution for the entire story, not resolution for the main conflict. So that's what made that one kind of tough. 7. Which of these statements should not be considered a plot point in the story? We're still struggling on these with the plot points. On this one, for the previous quiz, I gave you one that was a character. On this one of these is which one of these elements is when and where?
Setting.
Which one of these is setting?
The entire story takes place at a school during the daytime.
So that should be your hint that it's not plot if it's telling you the when and the where. That's why I have you do the memorizing of the when and the where. So that when you see this, you'll go, well, that's setting. So it can't be plot. That's all I was looking for. 9. Which word describes both Priscilla and Monk Clutter? This required you to go through. The biggest one that kids put down, fittingly, was enormous. Problem is, the Priscilla was enormous. She was a big girl who could smash people. Monk was not enormous. Monk was a little guy who was just a big punk and sort of started a lot of fights.
They're both self-confident.
And they are. Monk thinks he's all that in a bag of chips and is the head bully. And Priscilla just doesn't care about other people.
All that in a bag.
Which character is the mean character?
Punk. No.
You mean Monk? Monk the punk? I would agree. And then which one's the calm character?
Priscilla.
There you go. So each one of those described one. Self-confidence, the only one that describes more than one. 12. Using the clues in the story, which comparison is most accurate about both Boy World and Priscilla and the Wimps? This just requires you to go through and read each one. What is it in the Boy Meets World? What is it Eric wants to do for his job?
Become a weatherman.
Become a weatherman. For Priscilla, what's the last thing that happens in the story?
One of the
She locks the kid in the locker.
So there's one of the characters has to decide.
And then
They go back to school.
No, it's a break, and it's like a week, and then
leaves them
and it's snowy.
there you go.
I already said weatherman.
That was the idea of weather playing a big role. Eric wants to be a weatherman, and then in the other one's the fact that he gets killed because he's locked in a locker for a week.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I forgot
assuming
about
you
that.
have to have food and water to not die, and he has no food and water unless he rips off his own arm. Stella.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Sure. Points.
How many?
3.
No. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Wait a minute. So,
Yes.
Wait, can't they like press charges on them?
Technically, yes.
Can they go to jail?
But they wouldn't know.
Technically, yes. But that would depend on also whether or not you had someone who saw it happen. If we have no hallway cameras, then, maybe it was not a school with hallway cameras. And maybe they're just like, ooh, what's all stinky? Oh, look, it's Monk. Stella.
Wait, would I be in trouble time if I got 3 points?
I don't know. Cakers. Good stuff.
Okay.
And then our last question with irony. I'm guessing some of you guys didn't look things up. This one was airbag safe. Do you guys know what an airbag is?
Yeah, the thing that bags
It's the bags in the
comes out of the
Which
safety.
part of the car are the airbags in?
The front and the front.
And so, why is this one ironic?
Because it says put them in the rear seat.
Yeah, it says airbags save kids, but you put kids in the back seat. Apparently, we're not trying to save kids.
Nope.
Just like if you had your iPad out, you'd be standing, and we don't want to be standing. We already saw what happened to another kid.
Wait, how did we get it close to 15?
I don't know why we have our iPad out.
I'm just kind of looking at the brightness.
What's a procrastinator?
Someone that did someone that wanted.
So, what happens if they put off the
They're a
procrastinator?
procrastinator.
So you have a group of people who are putting things off, and then they put things off. That would be ironic. And then what's going on here?
Always open, but it's closed.
The opposite of what you expect. And then here,
That's so ironic.
that's just what's going to happen on Friday when the boys try out for basketball.
Oh!
And so that would be the one that's not ironic. All the other ones have some level of irony. Alright, and then that was all 15 questions. The ones that we struggled on, because a lot of them you guys did much, much better on. If you struggled, then you just have to resubmit, let me know, and I can hook you up and get you up to that 22. And then we have our final 2 grades this week. What's up, Stella?
Oh my god, can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh wait, can I get my shirt?
Yeah, after class. Yeah? And no, you're in single digits, you're not in struggle town.
I have 6.
Way to flex. Alright.
Oh, she don't have a shoe.
She has one shoe.
That's nasty.
Not my fault. All right, and home children, we're going to pause for a moment because this next part you don't get to participate in. It'll just be the kids who are alive in here. We'll come back to you in a second. All right. So, home children, so just so you are aware, you have Purple Story, which is what Friday's quiz is going to be over, and then we also got a second story, but this is one I'm reading to you. It's one that, where's it right there? Oh, wrong side, there it is. Called The Man from the South. This is one that I'm reading to you. So as we finish out, I've tried to save what I think are the more entertaining stories for the end. This is a longer story. There is still one more page after this that we're not going to get until Thursday. But again, I'm reading it to you, so we just get to go through and have a discussion. But it's a story that I can almost guarantee that you're going to find interesting on some level of what happens in the story. And then, let's see. Oh, so you guys talked about the name of the author, Roald Dahl, here in a moment. Are you guys familiar with the Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with BFG?
Yes.
James and the Giant Peach?
Yes.
Witches?
Yes.
So those are all children's books written by a guy by the name of Roald Dahl. He wrote awesome children's books. Turns out he also writes really creepy adult short stories. And so we're going to be reading one of his adult short stories because they are as creepy as his kid books are good for kids because the guy had issues, which makes it fun. So this may give you nightmares. Not as much as next
Issues did
So for this story, we need to know what suspense is for this story to work. Lucas?
It's when something like leads up to something, and then it goes boom.
Not bad.
It's like a firework, and like when you light it, that's when it starts, and then it just
When it's
blurs.
going up.
Thank you. Nyla?
Oh my god.
Wait, it did one paper.
How so? How does that make it longer?
I don't know.
I liked your confidence though. It sounded very convincing. Are you getting arrested, Cameron? What's up?
It's like the climax, kind of.
Oh.
But like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nabora?
It's kind of like foreshadowing, kind of.
Ooh, how so?
Because like you're like what Lucas said, kind of like it's leading up, like if you say like it's
It's a lot of lighting.
it's foreshadowing, but in a darker way, with a delay.
Alright, I can see that.
Wait.
Yes, Bertasso?
It's like build up on. It's just it keeps building up, and then it like just and then it's then.
No.
They go.
Hang on. I have a kid who made a bad choice. Well, it just cost him 5 points. See that feeling you have right there? That's called suspense. Because you're waiting to figure out which kid it was. Yeah, that was just building up suspense. Nicely done. So, part of the story that keeps you wanting to read. See how much fun that was? That was the best demonstration of suspense ever. So yeah, you guys were all
I
correct.
didn't do anything.
You look angry when you
Right?
did that.
It's called acting. It's
When you
what I
said
do.
damn myself.
No.
I act like I like
See,
kids every day.
Hey.
So yes, this story has suspense in it. It's going to be, there's a part of the story where there's a guy that's getting ready to die, but we don't know how he's going to die. You have to keep waiting to find out what it is, then all of a sudden it happens. You're like, ah! And it's, ooh.
That's scary.
Which part of the mountain does suspense
Climax.
happen?
Climax. It's the most surprising action.
Because the whole point, suspense is what's keeping you reading. Climax is where you find out. So a moment ago, when I said that kid made a poor choice, and you were all waiting, that's the suspense rising action. As soon as I say the name and you go, Joey, you're all like, oh, thank God it's not me. And that becomes your climax when you find out which kid it is. So it gets to rise up, and you have your most exciting moment. For this one, we're going to find out Man from the South. As we get into it, I'm going to have you figure out the point of view, and if you can, where it's taking place. And we're going to try to help you out from there. Ooh. Do you guys know what azaleas are?
No. What?
Azaleas?
I know.
They're going to talk about azaleas in a moment.
Sound like it's a shape. Sounds like a shape.
It's a thing in the wood.
So that is what azaleas are. They are flowers. Ooh. Like me.
I have those in my back.
And they're also going to talk about naval cadets.
Oh, it's like in the army where you're like a cadet and you're learning to be in the Navy.
Nicely done.
Like a teacher. I learned this in my 4th grade.
There you go. And so a naval cadet is connected to the Navy, those people on the boats, and a cadet means you are in the process of like learning to be part of it.
I learned that from Kiss Undercover.
Well done. Way to learn. All right, so go back to azaleas.
Okay, actually, that was
Man from the South.
Oh, wait.
It was getting on. It was getting on towards 6 o'clock, so I thought I'd buy myself a coat, go out and sit in a jet deck chair by the swimming pool, and have a little evening sun. I went to the bar and got the Coke and carried it outside and wandered down the garden toward the pool. Ooh, we should already know our point of view.
First.
What's your clue?
I.
Ooh,
Went to the pool.
and as part of the setting, we know when it takes place.
And day
AM or PM?
PM.
How do you know PM?
Because it says Coke, you don't have
I
Coke.
learned that in 5th grade.
Doesn't say PM.
Evening sun.
There you go! Good job. And so 6 p.m. taking place in the evening.
Can I have a moment of silence for 5 o'clock summer? Jimmy Buffett.
It was a fine garden with lawns and beds of azaleas, and tall coconut palms. And the wind was blowing strongly through the tops of the palm trees, making the leaves hiss and crackle as though they were on fire. I could see the clusters of big brown coconuts hanging down underneath the leaves. I did not put a picture of coconuts up there, but I'm assuming you know what those are.
I didn't know you.
Coconuts?
They're like the little brown bowling balls.
Yeah, the coconuts.
Tomorrow, we do not continue the story, because what are we doing tomorrow?
The 9-week assessment.
9-week assessment.